Welcome to Art with Mrs. Smith. Hello and welcome back to Art with Mrs. Smith. I'm so excited to share this project with you today. It's something that I've been working on for a little while now, and it's papier-mâché bowls. If you've ever done papier-mâché yourself, you will know just how much fun it is. But here are my bowls. I'll share them with you now. My first one is this little pink one. So it's just pink on the outside with a little design on the inside. So that's quite cute. And this one is a gift for a boy who goes for the Carlton Blues. So I've done a navy and white design and painted the logo in the centre there. So I'm sure he'll love that. And my third bowl is this one sitting over here. And this was inspired by an artist by the name of Mcnaughton. She's an Australian artist. I will tell you more about her a little bit later on. But she loves these bright shapes, and I thought it'd be perfect for a bowl. I will tell you the hardest thing for me with this bowl was keeping my 3-year-old son away from it, and sadly I wasn't very successful at that because he did get to it and he poured a purple ink all over it during one of the stages, and as much as I've tried, that purple ink just keeps coming through the paint. So you'll see little pink bits there where maybe there shouldn't be, but not to worry, I still love my bowl and I'm going to keep it on display. But before we do start our project, please sit back and listen, and I'm going to teach you a few little tricks that's going to make your paper macheing super easy. Okay, the materials you will need for the project include a piece of cardboard or anything else that's going to protect your workspace, because this will get messy. So something to cover your table. You're going to need a bowl. I've got 3 different sizes here, and that's just to show you some different design options. The bowl you choose is up to you. You can have a big one or a small one, totally up to you. You need some foil and some plain flour and some water. This flour water mixture works really well. There are other options when it comes to paper mache glue, but this flour one works really well. And you'll need some newspaper strips. Now I'm going to show you how to tear newspaper because there is a little trick to it. Newspaper has grain, and we want to tear our paper along the grain, and that way we get this beautiful clean tear. If you go against the grain, you will know because it'll be really rough. And then we sort of need them in, I don't know, about 10 centimetre strips. So tear that paper along the grain, and then again to make your little strips. You need some paint, and I'm just showing you some paint that I'll be using a little later. And of course, paintbrushes. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate with the middle-sized bowl. And I'll bring back my foil. We need to cover the bowl with the foil, but I do suggest you give the bowl a little spray of this oil before putting the foil on. That way, when it comes time to remove the bowl, it makes it really easy. Now, I didn't do it. I kind of forgot to do it when I did my bowls, and it was okay. The foil was a little bit tricky, a little bit sticky to come out, but it did work. So if you don't have the oil, don't panic too much. Now I'm covering my bowl, and you can see me trying to smooth that out as much as I can. So I'm trying to get it lovely and smooth, and I have a little helper. Okay, so you can see me just making that as smooth as possible. I did tear that foil a little bit in that section, but not to worry, doesn't matter. Okay, nice and smooth, and now we're ready to start putting our newspaper strips on. Okay, but first we need to make our glue. So the mixture I'm using is 1 part flour and 2 parts water. But my recommendation is to not worry too much about the measurements. They don't have to be perfect at all. It just has to make a nice consistency. So, more flour, more water, whatever you think. So and then give it a really good whisk so there's no lumps. Now we bring in our newspaper strips and you dip it into the glue. Just squeeze off the excess. We don't want it completely dripping. And lay it on your bowl. Now you'll notice that I'm going in a bit of a pattern here. All the newspaper strips are going in the same direction, and there's a very important reason for that. If you do this, if you go in the same direction all the time, you'll know where you're up to. So instead of having 10 layers on one side and only one on the other because you forgot where you're up to, this helps you eliminate that problem. So I'm going to do the whole bowl in this one direction to start. Okay, and then once it's all covered just like this, I'm going to start laying my strips in the other direction. So this time I'm going horizontally and making sure I get along the base of the bowl. It's really important. That just gives it lots of strength. And once I've done that horizontally, then I'm going to go back and do it again vertically. Now here are my bowls all finished. So it has 3 layers. So it went vertically, horizontally, and vertically again. And I've just put my bowls on this plastic placemat just so that it doesn't stick to the cardboard. And we'll just leave that to dry. You'll need an overnight at least, if not 2 days. Now here they are all dry. And I'll put them back on the cardboard because we're going to do some more layers now. So put them back onto the messy mat. Bring back your glue mixture, more newspaper, and just repeat that whole process. So another 3 layers. And you can see I do have another little helper for this part. Okay, here are the bowls all finished, and I'm just going around making sure the newspaper is lovely and smooth, and just going around the ridge of the base of the bowl because we want our bowls to be able to stand up once they're dry. So really get into those little cracks. And so there's a total of 6 layers on this. We did 3 at the start, and then we let that dry, and then we did another 3. And now that they're dry, this is what they look like. And you can see going around those ridges is really going to help those bowls to stand up nice and sturdily. Now it's time to take the bowl out of the paper. This is a fun little step. So I'm just folding back the paper from the edge and just give it a squeeze and it should come out. There we go, and now take the foil out. If you'd sprayed with oil, this step's going to be really easy, but like I said, I didn't spray with oil, so it's a little bit sticky. But again, not too hard. It does come out. It's important that you do get all of the foil out. Don't leave any bits behind. Now the edges are going to be really rough, so get a pair of scissors and just trim those edges off to make it nice and neat and smooth. Now we've got another step here which is completely optional. I've got a little bit of sandpaper and I'm actually going to sand the edges. Again, completely optional. If you don't have sandpaper, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. If you do have sandpaper, then just give it a quick hit and that'll make it extra smooth. Now it's time to apply an undercoat to our bowls just to hide that newspaper before painting with colour. And I'm going to be using this gesso. Now gesso just essentially turns any surface into a blank canvas. So, but if you don't have this, and I suspect that you won't, that's okay. Just use white paint, or in the past I've used white spray paint and that worked really well too. So here we go, just covering up all that newspaper with some white paint. Okay, so now that our bowls are all finished, we've done our base coat and we're ready to add some colour, it's time to get thinking about what you're going to do. What are you going to paint on it? So at the moment, it's just a blank canvas. You can literally paint whatever you like, whatever colours appeal to you or maybe to the person that you're giving it to. Like I mentioned, I was inspired by the artist Deb Mcnaughton for this particular bowl. Deb was a primary school teacher a few years ago and she sort of stumbled into the art field a little bit. She did an artwork and posted it online, kind of exploded. Everyone loved it so much and she's never looked back. She's stopped teaching now. She just does art full time, which is incredible. And the thing I love about her art is that it's always so bright and cheery and it just makes you feel happy inside. And isn't that just like a beautiful response to artwork? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Deb so you can just sit back and have a listen. Deb Mcnaughton is a Melbourne-based artist with a love for colour and a passion for making the world a brighter place through art. Her bubbly personality is reflected in the contemporary artworks she creates. She works with a variety of mediums and her style is described as spontaneous, diverse and fun. Her creativity comes from the heart and her colourful creations are widely recognised in Australia and overseas. Deb finds inspiration all around her, from fashion trends, nature and other great artists such as Matisse, and her work is sure to catch your attention. You can find her artworks on picnic baskets, blankets, clothes, murals and pots, but one thing is for sure, you will definitely get happy vibes whenever you see her work. Okay, let's get painting. I'm going to start by doing a base colour for each of my pots. My Deb Mcnaughton inspired bowl is going to be this beautiful mint. So I'll do mint all over. And then I'm going to do navy and pink for the other two. Okay, now my base paints are all dry and I'm adding colours to my palette. So think about the colours that you're going to have on your palette. Get them all ready and it's a good idea to have your inspiration. If you're using an inspiration, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just doing your very own design, which is fantastic. But here's my Deb Mcnaughton piece that I'm going to get some ideas from and away we go. Okay, my bowls are all finished and they're dry. Here's my Deb Mcnaughton. Here's my little pink one and the navy blue one with the Carlton symbol in the middle. But to just really finish them off, I want to seal this paint and this step is totally optional. Please don't feel like you have to do this, but I'm going to use this matte spray. It just gives it a nice little finish and kind of protects the paint. So if something was to spill on there, it's not going to ruin it. So here I go. Just going to give it a spray. Okay, that's the end of our lesson, the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you've learned a little bit about papier-mâché, but most of all, I really hope I've inspired you to have a go at doing this yourself. If you do decide to have a go at papier-mâchéing a bowl, take a photo and share it with me. I'd love to see it. You can send it to my Facebook or my Instagram, and that would be great. Okay, I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.